Introduction. The strange weight of invisible rejection. It all begins with a subtle change. You notice that someone who used to greet you warmly now avoids your gaze. The responses, once enthusiastic, become dry. The silences grow longer. The looks grow colder. And one day, you realize that something has changed deeply. But no one has told you. A war has begun. A silent war. And you, without knowing it, have become its enemy. As a philosopher of moral reason, I often found myself surrounded by people who confused courtesy with virtue, envy with criticism, weakness with compassion. I closely observed the invisible mechanisms of human hostility. That is why today I must write about this, the strange and unsettling experience of being hated without explanation, of seeing dear faces close like doors, of being judged for your light more than for your mistakes. And, although at first it may seem personal, it is not. It is structural. It has ethical, psychological, and existential roots. Today we will uncover this secret war. Chapter 1. When your growth becomes an unbearable mirror, there is a truth few want to admit. Your personal evolution can become an insult to those who chose not to change. When you begin to heal, to shine, to speak more clearly, to make decisions you once avoided, you awaken something in those around you. Not always admiration, often discomfort. Because your transformation shows, unintentionally, what others have postponed. And that is unbearable. Kantian ethics tells us that the human being is an end in itself. But many people have not understood this. They want you to be a means for their security, their control, their comfort. When you no longer fulfill that role, you become a threat. Your strength questions their passivity. Your joy exposes their resentment. Your authenticity confronts their mask. Thus, the war begins. Chapter 2. The moral law within you as external provocation. When you live from authenticity, you are obeying what I called the moral law within you. You do not act out of fear or reward, but out of respect for yourself and the duty to be who you truly are. That which should inspire often irritates, because those who do not listen to their own inner law will see yours as arrogance. People begin to hate you when you can no longer be manipulated. When you stop explaining every decision, when you no longer perform emotional acrobatics to be accepted, your mere presence becomes a mirror, and that reflection shows truths many would rather not see. Chapter 3. The silent judgment of those who do not dare. They will not call you directly traitor or selfish. That would be too frontal. Kant would say that modern social evil hides in ambiguity. The silent war is waged with micro-expressions, vague rumors, sudden disappearances, exclusions disguised as coincidence. The strategy is not to attack you. It is to make you wonder if the problem is you. And do you know why it works? Because deep down, you care. You care about ties, community, belonging. And that is where the war becomes cruel. They use your humanity against you. They use your desire for connection to poison your perception of yourself. Chapter 4. The trap of induced guilt. You begin to think, was I too direct? Did I hurt without meaning to? Have I become narcissistic? You wonder if the hate you perceive is just punishment for your new self. But listen to me. Do not confuse firmness with harshness. Do not confuse clarity with arrogance. Do not confuse healing with betrayal. Sometimes, the price of transformation is the projection of those who are not ready to follow you. And that does not make you guilty. It makes you different, Kant would say that morality is not about pleasing, but about being consistent with principles. You do not live to please, you live to be true. Chapter 5. The Desertion Effect. When you no longer belong to the emotional tribe. There are groups that are not communities, but prisons of identity. In them, you are expected to stay the same, so no one has to self-reflect. When you change, you have emotionally deserted, and the tribe reacts, not out of evil, but out of fear. Fear that your freedom exposes their submission. Fear that your joy reveals their bitterness. Fear that your evolution questions their justifications. Hatred, then, is only the visible symptom of an internal wound that is not yours, but is projected onto you. Chapter 6. The Choice Between Silence or Coherence. When you realize the war has begun, you have two options. Stay silent, shrink, return to your old self to regain approval, sustain your new self, even at the cost of rejection. The first option gives you momentary relief. The second gives you lasting freedom. Practical reason requires us to choose what is right, not what is easy, and what is right, in this case, is to honor your process, even if that means being misunderstood, because if you stop being yourself to be loved, you are not loved. You are tolerated, conditioned. Chapter 7. True peace does not lie in being loved by everyone. Many believe that the moral ideal is to be universally accepted, but that is impossible. Ethics teaches us that doing good will not always be popular. There are moments when doing the right thing will mean causing discomfort. There are days when telling the truth will break bonds. There are decisions that, however noble, will awaken hatred in those who live in lies. Peace is not in being liked by everyone. It is in liking yourself. True peace is looking in the mirror and knowing you did not betray yourself. Chapter 8. How to respond to the silent war without losing your soul. Do not return hate, understand it. Do not justify mistreatment, but understand that it comes from pain. Do not isolate yourself. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your growth, not merely tolerate it. Do not lose your voice. Speak firmly, but without resentment, hatred, shouts. Dignity responds. Do not give up your power. Do not beg for love. Those who need you to shrink do not love you. They need you weak. Do not forget your why. You are growing for a reason. Do not go backwards to be accepted by those who cannot stand to see you move forward. Epilogue. The privilege of being who you are, even if it makes others uncomfortable. The silent war is not against you. It is against what you represent. Possibility, change, truth, freedom. In a world that idolizes comfort, being authentic is revolutionary, and every revolution generates resistance. But remember this: freedom begins the moment you are no longer controllable. And that moment, though lonely at first, is the birth of your true community. People who do not need you to betray yourself to love you. You are not alone. You are emerging. You are breaking old invisible pacts. You are finally honoring the moral law within you. And even if some hate you for it, never forget that it is better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you pretend to be. Because dignity, mother of all virtue, begins when you decide not to shrink anymore. That is the beginning of true respect, and also of true peace.